Meanwhile, President Biden is going to spend the weekend at home in Delaware. But this is after he says he's not going to visit East Palestine, Ohio. Instead, the federal government is saying he is saying the federal government will send people door to door in that town to check on the welfare of its residents. Listen.
It's been 3 weeks now since the toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. As you know, the mayor says he saw you in Ukraine, and he says it tells you he doesn't care about us. They're asking, is the president coming to Ohio? Do you have any plan to travel to Ohio, and have you talked with the mayor yet?
Let's put this in perspective. Within 2 hours of that derailment, the EPA was in there. Within 2 hours. Every major agency in the United States government that had anything to do with rail and or cleanup was there and is
Nah,
there.
FEMA refused to go.
Have you talked with the mayor?
I can't recall that. I don't think I've talked to the mayor. I talked to everyone else there, and I've multiple times talked to both the senators, both governors. I've talked to everyone there is to talk to, and we made it clear that everything is available.
This was the commander chief that was supposed to have empathy, right? Connect with people. An incident like this is a
FEMA only
political
goes
layup.
because
If you have
we
the right
forced them
instincts,
to.
or you actually have
People
empathy.
didn't shut up about the
Massive
fact they weren't
toxic
going.
spill. Yes, you could say we sent the EPA, but where are you? Where are you shining the light on it, making it an issue, emphasizing it? 3 weeks later, you see the banner right there. You're just now ordering door-to-door checks. Hey, are you okay? 3 weeks later, after you've been breathing it in and drinking in possibly toxins that may affect you now or may affect you for decades to go and decades from now. But also the status of the community itself. Who will stay there? How does that community survive? It just, for residents, Rachel, how can you not draw a feeling that the priorities of this administration are everywhere other than that?
Well, the images are stark, right? I mean, you asked where was he? He was hugging Zelensky. He was in the Ukraine. That is the top priority of this administration. And so when you hear people complaining, well, we need America first, I mean, I can't think of a better image than that. And it was not lost on the residents. The mayor was, said he was deeply offended. So many residents said the same thing. And it wasn't just, that Joe Biden didn't show up, but, Pete Buttigieg looked like he didn't want to be there. I said he looked like a grumpy Bob the Builder there. I mean, he did not want to be there. Look at that. A little bit of Mr. Bean, but
always.
Yeah, always, right? But yeah, he didn't want to be there, and they also scared away people who would normally be there. Corporate America got the signal. Don't go because Americans do that, whether it's the Ukraine war, the victims there, or hurricanes or tornadoes. American companies love to show up and help out, and it's great PR. And they just weren't there. I mean, Amazon delivered some water, that's true, and they've been doing that. And Goya is on the ground there. But the other people aren't. The other companies aren't. Airbnb could be offering free lodging out of this town for residents who, are scared and don't have the money, as they try to figure out whether it's safe to be there or not. They're not there. And why aren't they there? They got the signal. Don't make the Biden administration look bad. And if you do this, these companies know that this is this is an administration not afraid to retaliate against its enemies by, sticking the IRS or the EPA on you or whatever it is. So no help there. And of course, no help from celebrities either, who claim to care about the environment.
Yeah, and Pete, you mentioned the president has no plans to visit East Palestine, Ohio. He made that clear. Watch.
Are you planning to travel to East Palestine, Ohio?
Not. I did a whole video on, what the hell? Zoom. All I can, every time I think of Zoom, that song of my generation, who's zooming who? Wait, let me answer the question.
Is that a song? Who's zooming who?
I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
I think obviously the particulars of this tragedy deserve their own attention. I also just think this becomes a symbol for, you've talked about the emotion of empathy. There is a sense that the Democratic Party that once seemed to stand for the working man in America has so little interest in the working man in America. Whether that means calling them deplorable or saying they cling to guns and God and their Bible. And then there's certainly a feeling here in this portion of the country that they have been forgotten and left behind. And this incident, as you pointed out, is a layup to say that's not true. I don't think they would come away with that impression. I don't think they'd come away with the impression that they have been remembered.
Absolutely, because half the time in a situation like this, even in your personal life, maybe someone can't do anything about it, but you want to believe or know that they care, that they're thinking about you, especially if you're the president who can do something about it. Bring the full power of the federal government. Show us we're actually even on your radar and that we register as a priority. You know who did show up? Donald Trump. In typical form, met with people, talked to people, took pictures, told them, hey, we're not going to forget you. He doesn't have the ability to pull the levers of the federal government right now. He's in the middle of a campaign to show that he would. But that's the type of thing he knew how to do. He had political instincts.
You know, the Wall Street Journal kind of criticized Donald Trump for going, and they were like, it's political theater. And I thought, you know, what else
He
can you do
went
when
to
you're not in
Katrina,
power?
and that was 20
All you
years
can do
ago.
is
Had
shine
nothing
the
to
light
do
on
with
the
the
problem and hope
presidency.
that the people in charge do
He's
it.
just a better person than Joe
The Democrats
Biden.
also criticize Republicans who go to the border and say that, you know, those visits or those hearings at the border are theater. No, they're not. There's nothing you can do when you're not in power than to shine the light and hope somebody is shamed into helping. Somebody who did show up is Erin Brockovich. Remember the movie Erin Brockovich about, you know, it was an Oscar winner. Julia Roberts played her. Really interesting. She showed up. Here's what she told Tucker Carlson yesterday.
We're pushing a month now, and they still don't have any answers. It's very obvious something's really gone wrong out here. I've been out here down on the ground, and they're really frustrated why they don't feel that their agencies or their administration cares about what's happened to the community. You don't have to go any further, in my opinion, than a 100-year study that we all know the miners did for us. It's called The Canary in the Mine Shaft. Send the canary down there, it dies, might not be good for humans. You have dead fish, might not be good for humans. You have dead animals, might not be good for humans. You send a horrible mixed message to this community. Drink the water, don't drink the water. Safe, not safe. It's horribly confusing and extremely frustrating to them, and something actually has gone wrong here, and there's information that has yet to come forward, and the story will continue to unfold.
44,000 fish dead so far. That should tell you something. I'm sorry, I know it's like we keep using the word forgotten. At this point, I think it's fair to say, is it systemic racism? Is it because of who they voted for? Is it political retaliation? Is it because they're middle class white voters? Is it because they're not part of the permanent dependency class or part of the donor class